So, this game is coming up in 2 days, and I got my Facebook, my Twitter, my email blown up on what are my thoughts of the game and my favorite Unholy Decay class. So this is going to be Rant of epic proportion, a bigger rant than all the hatred you guys had in your hearts towards the Attribution when you were forced to do that. But first, let's start with some epic commentary. As you guys can see, I am trying really hard here. I even made a sub-rogue and put whole 5 binds on my bar. So this is my practice for LCS commentary, my friends. I got feared, but I don't have a trinket, so I'm gonna sit in the whole fear. And after that, I'm gonna pop Shadow Dance for no reason, and I'm gonna pop another Shadow Dance, and I am Shadow Striking, Shadow Striking, Shadow Striking, Shadow Striking, Nightblade, Shadow Striking, Shadow Striking, Shadow Striking, Eviscerate, Shadow Striking, Shadow Striking, Chip Shot, and he is forced to disperse. So much pressure coming out of my amazing sub-rogue, and I'm Nightblading this red. And I'm eating the full stun because I didn't put a trinket on my bar. Neither do I have any defenses, so I am getting back into my Shadow Striking, Shadow Striking, Shadow Striking. Who gives a fuck if you pop the bubble? Still Shadow Striking, it's a magical damage, right? And Shadow Priest dies, and I am Shadow Striking, and Shadow Striking. And now I know you guys think that I'm such a scrub. But as you can see, I actually almost stopped the damage here and almost stopped the healing. So I know what I'm doing. And when you go to WoW forums, this thing gives probably people cancer cells. Because you have mongoloids like this who are saying sub-rogue damage isn't even high. Isn't even high, their damage. This guy, a main rogue, and they need to buff us significantly. Shadow Strike, Shadow Strike, Shadow Strike, yeah, Shadow Strike, Shadow Strike. Oh wait, I'm waiting for my Shadow to cool down. Oh, look at that damage. Oh, look at that healing. Look how many buttons I have. I wish we as DKs bitch as much as rogues did so we could get buffed as well. So we have interview with Holinka. This is what he's saying. Are there any upcoming changes to fix the mobility issues? This was on the June 30th, by the way, this year. Issues in PvP, nerfing melee mobility instead of buffing the casters. People generally say melee mobility, and I feel like they're talking about specific specs. The ones where mobility is very high, for example, Monk, rolling, flying, and everything else. This is legitimately what you say. However, we can compensate that with the PvP tuning. If a class is high mobility, the damage has to go down. That's what Holinka says. So this is my Unholy Decay with the 8-button rotation. And also, we're fighting against some really high ranked players. And let's look at my Unholy Decay's DPS. My DPS itself as a sustain is 56,000. Plus 11,000, 9,000 provided from my pet. So about 65,000 plus the Shamrock Horse army and everything else might bump me up to 70, 75. I do sometimes get up to 100k DPS as Unholy Decay. It's not a bad number right now. In this match I decided to give myself a bigger challenge, so I took off the chip shot of the bar and I thought, what if I would use the Nintendo 8-bit joystick with the 4 buttons? Well, I was able to do so because look at this, I only have 4 binds on my bar. And oh my god, look at my damage. I did more damage than both of the enemy DPS combined. I did a lot of healing, and then let's take a look at that lovely DPS. Over 100k. And yes, the 4 buttons can also give you many wins, my friends, in 3v3 as well. Because of designs. My lovely Unholy Decay does about the same DPS as a sub-rogue with unlimited stuns, unlimited mobility, right? And I cleave, I do provide AoE damage, not just a single target damage. Now, if the sub-rogue is on me, I'll do a lot less damage because I'll be CC'd half the time. A lot less too, with a lot less CC myself and a lot less mobility. But wait, if the class has a high mobility, the damage has to go down 2 days before the game release. But that's only scratching the surface on the derpiness of the design of this game. Okay, this was the developer interview a couple weeks ago. You prune the plant to guide its growth in the new directions that are hopefully more aesthetically pleasing. It is removing stuff to make room to add new stuff. Okay, you prune the plant, motherfuckers. Deepening shadows. Your finishing moves reduce the remaining cooldown of shadow dance by 3 seconds per combo point. Okay. Shadow Dance lets you use all your stealth abilities and abilities cost 20% less. Chip Shot can be used during the Shadow Dance. So I pop Shadow Dance. I use Chip Shot. Oh wait, it's not on my bars. My bad. It doesn't matter. I have three charges of a Shadow Dance. Wait, there you go. Actually, let's wait for another one. There you go. There's another Shadow Dance. Shadow Dance gives you 3 combo points. Those 3 combo points, 40 seconds remaining, right? Reduce the cooldown of Shadow Dance by 9 seconds. So, the design is flawless, my friends. Only a few people could come up with that. The design is the following. The more you stun, the more combo points you generate. The more combo points you generate, because you generate 3 combo points. The more combo points you generate, the faster reset on the Shadow Dance comes in, the more you can stun. So the more you spam your stun, the more you can stun in the long run. Because it generates the most amount of combo points. Logic. I legitimately had to stop recording because I could not stop laughing at idiocracy of this thing. You prune a plant to guide its growth in a new direction. What the fuck are they trying to get this metaphor for, okay? You prune the plant. I'm gonna shit all over that statement. First of all, WoW is not a plant. It's a big ass fucking tree. It's a huge, humongous tree out there that was already rotting from termites and all the parasites. And you don't cut off the good healthy branches from that tree in order to guide the direction of it, okay? Right? You see, and if it's a plant, well, for fuck's sakes, here's how you guide the growth of it. You plant it on a flat surface, not on the hill. Basically what I mean is take care of your foundations first. And that gives the classes a good design. Okay, so the developers of the most horrific expansion ever possible, Shitlords of Draenor, that came up with the Ashran, they took off our necrotic from there. And these brilliant motherfuckers here, to guide the growth, they added necrotic in the Legion. When I specifically stated, lots of high-rated DK stated, we need a necrotic, because we need a heavy melee presence to be viable in arena. They took off in the Worlds of Draenor, they added back into the Legion. They took off Wandering Plague from DK design, they added back in the Legion. Now, moving on to the freaking Legion, my DK lasts about 15-17 binds and 13 unique abilities, stance dancing, different runes and the way how the runes interact. Where the fuck are they trying to guide me? Because I'm very, very confused. They tried to guide me into the toddlerhood as a person. You prune the plant to guide the direction of the plant. Okay, well, let's take a look at the direction. You guys ready? Alright, so our pet, on average, this motherfucker right here, does about anywhere from 10 to 20% of our DPS. Plus, it puts a festering wounds on the target with the talent of infected class, a must to have in PvP. That then you can necrotic strike later on. So, your pet is extremely important to you. This is how they're guiding. You ready for this? So first of all, if your pet dies and your cooldown is reset on your raised dead, you can summon it right away. Now, everybody knows hunters can heal their pets, warlocks can heal their pets, everybody can heal their pets, yet they took off our ability to heal our pets from this expansion. I have no idea why, just because reasons we cannot heal our pets anymore. So there's a now Legion, Wrath of the Lich King, Kara, even Mr. Pandare had this one thing for the pets. The pets take 60 to 80% depending on the expansion. Usually it's 60% less area of effect damage from other players. So if the warrior bladestorming on top of you, your pet doesn't get one-shotted. That's the change made by Ghostcrawler, and kudos to him because he knew how shit was supposed to be run, right? So that is out of the window. We cannot heal our pets. Pets take full damage from area of effects, right? But let's talk about the brilliance of the design. The only viable thing that we have against other melee, because we lost the blood presence, we lost the ability to kite and the siphon. In fact, the amount of defenses we lost desecrated ground. AMS got twice as long of a cooldown because we lost the glyph. We lost the Lichborn heal. We lost the blood presence. We lost majority of our defenses, and what we've given in return is the gimpy shit that gets you stuck all the time, and you literally look like you're a dead person because you will be dead right after that. It doesn't fucking matter. But what else we got is this, the corpse shield. 90% of the damage you take is transferred to your pet. So if the warrior bladestorming for 100k damage, your pet will be taking 190k damage. 100 for itself, 90 for you transferring it. Are you following me so far, right? So my pet has about 700k HP in arenas. It takes about 4 seconds to mow the pet down. If I'm getting focused and there's been some AoE before that, your pet dies. I actually use my enraged pet as a defensive cooldown so that I can pop the corpse shield so it lasts longer. Now the beautiful thing about all of this design is that if the pet dies through the corpse shields, it goes on a 30-second cooldown. Just because reasons, I don't know, let's just penalize decays for using this defensive cooldown. Let's put it on the 30-second cooldown for no fucking reason at all whatsoever, right? Or because they couldn't code shit, because technically if I pop my corpse shield and my pet dies, the corpse shield is still on me for God knows whatever reason is, but I still take the full damage. So let's talk about the guidance of the plan called Death Knights. Let's remove like 90% of their old defenses out. Let's tie lots of their damage to the pet. Let's take away the ability for Death Knights to heal their pets, and then let's give them a talent back that pretty much kills their own pets. A fantastic design, my friend. Just a fantastica. Like, it's the best design ever possible. What idiot came up with this kind of bullcrap? It's beyond me. But I know where the direction of the Death Knight goes from this design. They prune our plant. They prune our decays to guide us into direction towards the true death. So we're gonna fucking die a lot. Things I would like to see pruned, like my apple trees, my fig trees, my apricot trees, wild apricot because it doesn't taste really good. That's what I would like to see being pruned. The things I don't want to see pruned is two things. One is my dick, second is my unholy decay. But then again, my sub rogue with 4 buttons, with a design, I'm gonna shit all over it in just a second, does more healing than my unholy decay, while having more defensive cooldowns and more escapes. Can somebody explain me why I should be doing here 3.5 million of just passive healing, nothing else? And look at the damage. It's the damage with a legitimately 4 buy-ins. One of them is Shadow Dance and 3-button rotation. But hey, the Holinka in the interview said what we wanted to hear. If a class is high mobility, the damage has to go down. This is Illuminati conspiracy, guys, more than anything else. Okay? This is really a huge conspiracy to letting the leather classes have the most survivability, the most mobility, and doing the most damage. And having the most healing. One of the themes of the Legion is class design. Like, this is legitimately what they said in the interview. You can actually watch it. They have the interview recorded on Twitch. So I'll read this. One of the themes of a Legion class design is to emphasize strengths and weaknesses of classes. 2 days before release, Unholy has bad damage, one of the worst damage out there, has low survivability, low control, just like shitty ass control, one of the worst controls, and some of the shittiest survivability out there. While the rogues have some of the best single target damage, some of the best control, some of the best survivability, some of the best mobility. Where are they emphasizing the strengths and weaknesses of the classes? Legitimately, richer gets richer, poorer get poorer. You prune the plant. Fucking bonsai tree cutters. Metaphors. A lot of things that were removed after looking bad at the classes over the years, where the class designers had taken the easy route. So the Ghost Crawler, while I didn't agree with a couple of his decisions, God I miss him. Bless his heart. So, excuse me, the team was coming up, get the hell out of here. The team was coming up with a new set abilities for the expansion or needed new talents and asked themselves what that class needed. Themselves, not the community. If a class wasn't very mobile, by the way, sorry, I'm a little bit sick. They gave them a talent with the raw mobility options. Players thought this was amazing and what they wanted, but at the end it led to the homogenization. Okay. Let's tackle that one. So they added to eliminate some of the class weaknesses, and yes, to some extent it happened. It didn't happen to DKs because they always had shitty mobility and they didn't get extra mobility. Actually, their mobility was nerfed in the Legion because we lost our 15% movement speed that we had since Warcraft 3. Craziness. And I do agree that this is what I say. In a world where no one has weaknesses, there's also no strengths. I'm not sure what this guy's shift bugging. Why is it coming up? So yes, I agree with that. However, don't give us a random effing fluff right over here. Don't fluff us with words. This is worse. So 2016 is the worst year, I believe, for many reasons. One, there's a terrible United States elections of Trump versus Hillary. I don't like both. I don't like one more than the other. The second thing is Legion coming out with the garbage that they're putting in. So don't give us this random philosophical fluff when you have absolutely zero sense how to balance the numbers. There's no absolutely reason. Like, okay, let's talk about the design. You guys ready for this? This is gonna be heart-to-heart talk. If the rogue can shadow dance for at least 30 seconds out of 1 minute, so far from my experience, and they might change that, but they're not right now. I mean, every time they basically spend 6 combo points, the cooldown of a shadow dance is reset, well, 5 combo points is by 15 seconds. Over 1 minute, at least, they can reset shadow dance twice. Maybe not twice, but like 4 times. Easily. Each and every one of their abilities builds 2 combo points. And they have 1 second global cooldown. So they can shadow dance at least, I would say, 30 seconds out of 1 minute. During those 30 seconds, they can control anybody because they have unlimited chip shot. So if DK gets controlled for a stun for 5 seconds out of 20 seconds, which is duration of diminishing returns, technically speaking, out of 1 minute, Rogue can control DK for a good, with a blind and sap and all other shit, can control DK for at least, I would say, 20 seconds out of 1 minute. At least, that's even bad number. At least 20. Maybe even 25. So in that sense, if the Rogue can control DK more, if Rogue has more mobility than DK, then when DK gets in the melee range, he should be pulling at least 30 to 40% more damage than a Rogue. Just how the mathematics work. But in this sense, it doesn't work this way because there is absolutely no point of bringing Unholy Decay because he does the least amount of damage. It's not only Unholy Decay, Reds are terrible, Fury Warriors are terrible, Arms Warriors are okay. It's just, I think there is a kind of a plate armor curse. Like at this point, I wish my DK was wearing a leather armor Because he probably would have been much better at that point. In Legion, there is now room to add interesting utility, especially for the specs that feel like they don't bring much of a throw output. Now this is the most funniest shit possible I could read right here. It's basically saying that, hey, they already know. Okay, you know how Blizzard likes to dodge a very complicated questions. Blizzard loves dodging. They dodge their shit more than PvPers dodge Q dodge others. So this is the funny thing, my friends here. So if Blizzard is talking about ability pruning right over here, that means that definitely it's a major concern, because otherwise they usually like to brush it off and not talk about it. So not only they're talking about it, here this is the biggest red flag possible. And I like how they casually put it. In a Legion, there is now room to add interesting utility, especially for specs they don't think they bring much. So it's saying here, right here, either, but I don't think they're gonna bring any more utilities during the patches. They haven't added a single ability in the middle of the expansion. First 2 months into the VOD, I said Unholy is not gonna be viable for the rest of the expansion because it's lacking full Shadow Strike, Shadow damage from Scourge Strike or Necrotic Strike. Made that video, sent it to Holinka. They did not add Necrotic to make Unholy viable for the expansion. So right here, they're pretty much saying, you know guys, we're gonna give you some bullshit ass metaphors right over here about the fucking plants versus zombies. We're gonna say a bunch of bullshit to make you feel happy, and here we're gonna say stay tuned because another expansion is coming that will fix a shit that you're actually angry about now. Like legitimately, they're right over here. That what they're saying is, hey guys, we know we're fucked up, and this is beyond the redemption. This is how badly we fucked up. So don't worry, next expansion is gonna fix it. Right. Bring the player, not the class, was a reaction to a hyper-regiment raid structure of Burning Crusade, where buffs were party-based and synergy was more important than anything else. It was not. Bring the player, not the class. It was not the Burning Crusade. It was Mist of Pandaria. What happened is the case brought the Ebon Plaguebringer, Frost Unholy Decay, Frost Decays brought Brittle Bones, Pharaoh's Blood brought like extra bleed damage. Every spec had specific debuffs they were bringing to the raid. So the raid composition would usually was looking like, okay, let's bring 10 different specs at the very least. So each and every one of them, while they're not top performers, they bring the buffs, and they bring so many different buffs to the group that the raid becomes infinitely stronger. And when they removed all those individual buffs, that's when we saw the shit like 25 decays rating. That's when we saw stupid shit as like this top guild beat the Mystic boss, and their composition was 6 decay and 8 druids because everybody had to have battle resurrection. That's legitimately what happened. Once they homogenized and removed all those buffs, and they removed all those buffs under the slogan, bring the player, not the class. So we're here reading. Now the team would like to get back to the place as if you were a park leader and you're looking for a raid comp and saying we could really use a hunter. Let's look for a good hunter. Let me actually scroll down so you guys can read this. Rather than let's look for any range DPS, especially the flavor of the month that is 2% better, thus is only the viable one. Obviously that isn't the case. Obviously that isn't the case. Because those assholes never were able to balance the PvE to 2% ratio. It would never happen. Ever. The discrepancy between the top performer and the middle performer was like upwards 30 to 40%. The difference of DPS between the top and the bottom performer, just from the class perspective, could be even half. Like legitimately double the damage. Like their PvE balance is absolutely garbage. So don't put me this 2% here just to you so it could sound better. Put more real and then make a refraction here. Obviously that isn't the case right now. Like obviously we're fucked up, but the 2% is just a good number to say right over here, right? So the question now, okay, let me finish reading. Obviously that isn't the case here, but it is what the team is thinking about and would like to move towards over the course of the patches and the future content. Okay, so bunch of dandelion, flower, pink and fuzzy shit that is absolutely not happening in the game. Bunch of false promises to the point where I was thinking of actually getting a refund for the Legion, and I probably would get that. And the only thing that keeps me alive is you guys, you subscribers. But this channel is gonna go multi-gaming because honestly, WoW is gonna be just at most one-fifth of my gameplay until they actually bring out the changes that would make sense. And I will get back to it in just a second. So let me finish up here. So why would they bring the hunter? Let's look. We could really use a hunter. Let's look for a good hunter. Why would you bring a hunter? Okay, so back in the day, the case of auras that benefited the raid, the blood aura, the unholy aura that they actually removed, the Abaddon Plaguebringer increased disease damage for other decays, brittle bones were there, the AoE haste was there, the replenishment, the rats were not the best, but they brought replenishment to the raid because mana mattered back in the day. The DPS was going home, like legitimately people had to carry the mana potions. That's what was happening, and I'm talking about in the heroic raid structure. That's when I raided. I actually got legitimate Light of Dawn achievement. So back in the day, each and every one of the people classes brought something unique. I believe the hunter, one of the hunters had the replenishment, and the red had the replenishment. Abaddon Plaguebringer or the Curse of the Elements was there. Let's see. Brittle Bones, Thunder Armor. Fearless had a blade debuff that increased the blade damage for warriors. That's when you were bringing the classes, and that's where you would look. As a pug leader, you would add some of the best fury warriors possible, some of the best arms warriors possible, pharaohs, owls, and so on and so forth, because everybody was bringing something unique to the raid, all those unique buffs. That made a lot of sense. Now they removed the buffs and they're saying, well, let's bring a hunter. Well, what's the fucking point of bringing a hunter here? Absolutely none. Unless the hunter brings something unique to the table, there's no point. So that's what they're thinking of adding. Well, what the fuck are they releasing now? A half-baked piece of shit content with absolutely no game sense, no balance sense, absolutely not even possible to remotely enjoy the freaking game. The ideas are solid, but you cannot, I cannot feed on ideas. I cannot enjoy the ideas, okay? If I want to enjoy the ideas, I'm gonna go out there when I'm actually gonna recover from the sickness, lay down on my beautiful lawn in the middle of the night, look at the skies, and think of how pretty I am, and maybe I can become a fucking American president, okay? And I'll daydream for the whole night. Right? That's what ideas would bring me more happiness. Actually, those ideas will make me more happy than the ideas they have here, technically speaking. So I'm not playing for the daydreaming ideas. I'm playing for the content that they give us now. And at this point right now, WoW is not worth $50. Not worth $15 subscription from a PvP standpoint. Unless you're playing a lot of the classes as a melee, you're fucking doomed. So is the freaking casters. They cannot nerf something with a scalpel. They nerf something with an axe. Legitimately, I'm looking at the nerf to Fire Mage. 40-50% fireball damage nerf. Smack! Like, they haven't made any good changes for last, 2 months on the beta. Like, consistent changes. At the end, right before the release. Here, they slapped it, just throw it in our faces. And even then, there's legitimately so many threads about the sub-rogue's Shadow Strike OP level. None of the changes have been made. So at this point in time, WoW is just a casual game to rant about. There's a lot of more games out there that is more popular. I'm actually more excited about this game right over here, Total War Warhammer. This, the DLC release. I already pre-purchased it. This. Grim and the Grave. Single player freaking strategy game DLC release. I'm more excited about that DLC than actual legitimate expansion of the game that I dedicated my channel to. And honestly, I lost faith in their developers too. I'm not sure. I'm no longer gonna be praising the game. I'm gonna be making the content, but I'm gonna make it outside the content as well. And I don't think that the game is gonna return to its former glory until they fire their existing developers, the existing class designers, because honestly they have shit for brains to legitimately let the Legion, like, such a great idea, such a bad execution. Terrible execution. And I gotta give it to WoW subscribers, like the most loyal and tolerable players on earth. Because no other gamer that's coming back to WoW right now could live through such a volatile creation that they made right now. And that's it. That's all I have the rant for. The last rant lasted for 30 minutes, but fuck it. The game is so shitty, it deserves this. You prune the plant to guide the direction of you prune the plant to guide its growth in new directions. Right. They guided Unholy right to the fucking cemetery. Thank you very much.